Let's be honest, DC's newest heroes are getting weird, and not in the good way. And maybe it's not in the best way. First up is Gold Beetle, and let's be blunt, she's the poster child for everything wrong with DC's obsession with convoluted legacy characters. Part Rip Hunter, part Booster Gold, all time traveling, legacy, confusion, you name it. This amalgamation of a Blue Beetle descendant and Booster Gold's future son, or something like that. I mean, trying to explain her family tree without getting a headache is merely impossible. She popped up first during Flash Forward and then made a splash in Dark Crisis. She's a walking, talking paradox with Scarab-powered suit and a time sphere, seemingly existing solely to further complicate that already convoluted timelines of the DCU. And let's not forget that blatant attempt to capitalize on the popularity of both Booster Gold and Blue Beetle by just mashing their lineages together. Is this fan service or is it just lazy writing? Or it's both. Her existence begs the question, are we adding new characters just to make everything more complex, to create the illusion of depth where there's really just more tangled continuity? Gold Beetle feels less like a character and more like this walking, talking plot device designed to facilitate time travel, shenanigans, and little else. While some may find her chaotic energy fun, others will see her as a symbol of DC's increasing inability to create these truly original characters without leaning heavily on pre-existing lore, twisting it into this improbable shape. Next up, we have Flatline, her power to steal skills from the deceased. This is basically just Taskmaster with a goth makeover. Now, Flatline has a genuine cool power. She can absorb the knowledge and skills of the deceased. She made her first debut in 2021, and she's this protege of Lord Deathman and a significant antagonist during the Robin series. She represents a shift towards a more horror-tinged corner of the DCU, which could be interesting if it wasn't so heavy-handed. But is she truly unique, or is her goth ninja necromancer aesthetic just a trendy repacking of tropes that we've already seen before? We've seen the learn from others ability countless times, and the edgy look feels more like a marketing ploy than a genuine character trait. Her power set in particular is rather convenient, if you want to say, bordering on overpowered. If a character gets a little too powerful, she can always conveniently take a piece of them away, leaving them weaker for the next issue, every single time, only to repeat the same pattern again and again. She exists to nerf other characters when the plot demands it, which isn't always that entertaining. Does she have the agency of her own, or is she just a tool to manipulate the power levers of those around her? There's something to be said about having a character steal abilities from specific important characters at specific important times in DC's history, but that doesn't seem to be what they're going for here. Phantom 1, the Kryptonian tragically transformed into a being of phantom energy in the Warworld saga, perfectly exemplifies a growing trend in superhero comics where new characters are primarily designed as narrative tools just to propel the arcs of these established icons, rather than existing as this fully fledged individual. Check this out, her entire existence, from her heartbreaking backstory to her visually stunning yet plot convenient powers, this all serves to illuminate the cruelty of Mongol, challenge Superman's compassion and strength, and ultimately highlight his inherent heroism in the face of Warworld's horrors. While her suffering invokes pathos, Phantom 1 is a less of a character in her own right and more of a catalyst for Superman's development, raising the concerns that the weight of the legacy and the pressures of the comic book industry are increasingly leading to the creation of new heroes whose primary function is to service the narrative of these already established characters, leaving them of course underdeveloped and ultimately disposable within the broader superhero landscape. It's like you're made just for the plot, and then when the plot's settled, now you go away. It's not really fair. Monkey Prince is DC's attempt to do a Marvel scenario, but it might be falling short. Inspired by the iconic Sun Wukong, Monkey Prince brings this much needed dose of Chinese mythology to the DC universe, a positive step towards diversifying its roster, and his solo series certainly shows DC's commitment to the character. However, his irreverent, joke-cracking personality, while true to his mythological roots, often feels jarring and out of place within the generically more somber tone of the DCU, particularly when he's interacting with legacy characters. Furthermore, his design, while sure it's visually striking, it does lean heavily on the traditional imagery, which some may find overly stereotypical and bordering on caricature, raising questions about whether DC is genuinely embracing these cultural representations or simply leaning on these well-worn tropes just for a quick win. While his powers in connection to a legendary figure, I mean this is undeniable, Monkey Prince does walk a fine line between paying homage and caricature, and his comedic tone risks undercutting the character's potential for these meaningful integrations into the DC universe. Circuit Breaker is proof that DC is ticking boxes, not breaking new ground per se. While their introduction as a non-binary hero is able to tap into the Still Force in DC's Pride 2022 anthology, this was a commendable step towards inclusivity, but Circuit Breaker has since languished in relative obscurity, highlighting this reoccurring problem with how DC handles its newer, more diverse characters. Being relegated to a one short story and then a minor appearance in the Greater Lazarus Planet event where they had little to no impact at all, this severely limits the potential for meaningful character development and exploration of their powers. This raises the crucial question, are characters like Circuit Breaker truly being given a fair chance to shine, or are they merely being used as these tokens to fill a diversity quota, introduced with fanfare and then sidelined in favor of these established cisgender heterosexual heroes that we already know? Without dedicated series or more substantial roles in major storylines, heroes like Circuit Breaker risk becoming footnotes in DC history. Their potential as compelling and representative characters tragically is left unfulfilled. Xanth is a diversity prop, not a developed character in the overhyped Yara Flor saga. While the introduction of Xanth, a transgender Amazon, in the pages of Yara Flor's Wonder Girls undoubtedly a step forward for representation within the, traditional cisgender-dominated world of Themyscira, it's hard to ignore the fact that her character feels more like a symbolic gesture than a fully realized individual, right? A common theme we've seen so far in this list. Like Circuit Breaker, Xanth suffers from a severe lack of development, with her powers, backstory, and motivations remaining largely unexplored, leaving her as little more than a background figure in Yara Flor's narrative. Again, she's just a pawn in this other character's established world. This raises the uncomfortable question of whether DC is truly committed to developing these diverse characters, or if they're simply using them to just bolster the perceived inclusivity of established storylines, ultimately reducing them to tokens in a larger, more familiar narrative. Without dedicated exploration and meaningful storylines, Xanth risks becoming just another face in the crowd, or the book in the sense. A missed opportunity to expand the Amazon mythos in a truly impactful way. City Boy, okay, this guy can, talk to cities. That's his power. He just, literally. I do that every day on the way to work, but I don't look very super while I do it. He made his debut in the Wildstorm 30th anniversary special, and he's positioned as the urban counterpart to Swamp Thing. Now, City Boy represents an attempt to connect with a younger, more city-focused audience, hence his name, but is his power set more of a gimmick than a substance? And does the constant comparison to Swamp Thing hinder his ability to stand on his own as a unique character? Even though he predates a lot of the other heroes on the list, Roundhouse is still a relatively new addition to the DCU. He made his first appearance in Teen Titans Special back in 2018. Roundhouse, aka Billy Woo, is a social media obsessed teen with the ability to turn into a ball and bounce around. Yeah, he loves TikTok and he's also a ball. That's not bad, that's a power I can get behind. He's also, for some reason, a trained martial artist, because I guess the story demands it at some points, and he's meant to be the comic relief, the TikTok-loving Gen Z hero of Teen Titans. It's just what we wanted, right? But does his characterization sometimes fall into the trap of being a walking stereotype? And do his powers, while visually fun, actually make him an effective member of the team?
Up first, Jenny Crisis is the latest Century baby, born on the stroke of midnight, New Year's Day 2000. She is the spirit of the 21st century. Century babies are born at the beginning of a new century that eventually grow up to have some superhuman abilities. Typically, their job is to change the world, and they don't usually age past their 20s. Jenny is taking her role as the 21st century baby very seriously. She will leave this century better than she found it. At first, she did do more harm than good, simply because she didn't know how important she was. She would have panic attacks and then some catastrophe would happen. Eventually, she put the pieces together and decided to take some time to herself to sort that out. Like most century babies, Jenny is abnormally strong and can listen to pretty much the whole world, enabling her to locate those in trouble no matter where they are. She can fire blasts of emotional energy and make those around her feel what she feels. This year, Jenny had a bad breakup and accidentally caused the world to break for 2 days. Then the outsiders showed up to neutralize her. Jenny proved that she wasn't a threat though, and she is now continuing her journey of self-discovery, and she debuted in February of this year. But speaking of the outsiders, they are pretty new too, technically. The outsiders operating right now are the latest version of the team, Outsiders 4. The trio is Luke Fox's Batwing, Kate Kane's Batwoman, and Jaquita Wagner's drummer. The characters have all been around for a while. It's their team up that we've never seen before, and they do work quite well together, if I do say so myself. Particularly, I like Drummer's story. I think it's quite interesting. She is a refugee from a universe that was destroyed, but she survived because her invulnerability applies to continuity too. Outsiders Group 4 debuted at the end of 2023. Fleur de Lis has been brought back to the main continuity. She is French, which I'm sure you guessed. She works with the Justice League Europe as a mercenary and covert operative. She has enhanced abilities due to the cybernetic enhancements she's received. Her training turned her into an expert marksman and martial artist. She technically first debuted back in the 80s, but only had like 8 appearances. Now it seems she is getting some time in the spotlight after re-debuting in December 2019, and she has added 4 more titles to her name. That might be it though. She looked like she was pretty out of the game after Superman and the Authority 4, but we'll see. You never know. Everybody always comes back. There is a new version of Bruce Wayne that actually went to therapy. I know, I can't believe it either. He exists in Batman Gargoyle of Gotham's universe, so that is Earth 46. This comic is quite violent, so it's labeled 18+, but the story is really interesting, and it introduced a brand new villain that's very creepy, plus it sent Bruce Wayne to therapy. But even though he went, it doesn't mean it went well. The therapist in question might not have had the best intentions. Were they the one that put the idea of Batman in Bruce's head? We don't know yet, because they disappeared and took all their client records with them, leaving Arkham Asylum to rot and decay. I think the mystery is super compelling. The villain is ruthless, and the art is really fun. Every time Bruce Wayne's face is out, he is voguing. I love this comic. I love it. However, it's been coming out too slowly for my tastes. Only 2 issues are out, and it's been months of waiting for the next one with almost no concrete release date in sight. So I need everybody to get into their Gargoyle of Gotham era because I can't have this getting cancelled. Thank you, team. Marilyn Moon Knight is next. She was a vigilante from the Wild Wild West back when Metropolis was just a little frontier town. She was the protector, essentially. At first, she was just a regular citizen, but then this outlaw rolled into town causing trouble. He was defeated by 2 people from the future, a man who could fly and a woman on a glowing horse. Of course, those future people turned out to be Superman and Marilyn herself. Marilyn saw the mysterious woman and was inspired to protect the little town, becoming the spirit of Metropolis. Behind every strong woman is herself. Marilyn lived a long life and passed peacefully, surrounded by love, but then of course that can't last. There is no peace for heroes, not even in death. She was resurrected as a ghost, and for her troubles received light-based powers that work best when manipulating moonlight. There is a catch: she can only exist in the moonlight, so only exist in the dark. Marilyn dropped in early 2023, and I hope they find ways to keep bringing her back because I think she's really cool. Jarro is a little star with big dreams of becoming Batman's favorite Robin ever. He is so adorable. I want one. He even has his own little Robin suit. Jarro was created by Batman from a sample of Starro, but he is a good little guy through and through. He does call Batman dad, and the two share a very special bond. He was raised to help the Justice League, and he was trained to fight. Just because his limbs are a little shorter and he's a star doesn't mean he can't hold a blaster. They can also turn into a larger version of themselves, known as the Conqueror. In that state, they release spores that latch onto a host to control their mind. Batman had to talk Jarro down when they got into that state in Justice League V4-29. Jarro is also capable of flight, regeneration, and is actually a certified genius. The brilliant little star debuted in late 2018. Elizabeth Marston Prince. She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment. She is new and not part of the main universe. Elizabeth is from the Wonder Woman Trinity universe, and she is Wonder Woman's daughter. The universe is a possible future, and there, Elizabeth grew up alongside fellow super kids Damian Wayne and John Kent. There were a few times the trio went on missions together as kids, defeating Killer Croc and visiting the moon. When she grew up, Elizabeth officially became the new Wonder Girl, but later decided to go by Trinity. Trinity is still pretty young and likes to mess with her friends, racing them or making them all go on a mission to a Greek cave where their tolerance for pain, honor, and skill are tested so they can ultimately enter the jail where the Sovereign was held. world. Two very different activities, but one thing remains constant: she messed with the boys. Elizabeth is her mother's daughter. She trains like her mom, leads like her mom, is strong like her mom, and is immortal. Elizabeth is pretty cool on her own, but the coolest thing about her is she is the first holder of the 3 lassos of fate. There is the gold lasso, the lasso of truth, a black lasso, the lasso of lies, and a silver lasso, possibly the lasso of secrets, but we don't know quite yet. A series of bad decisions led to Venadia being remembered for being a villain and not a hero, even though she trained her whole life to fight for good. Venadia is her vigilante name, but her real name is Vanessa. Vanessa grew up the way many of us probably did, wanting to be a superhero, but she trained her whole life to get herself in peak physical condition to eventually fight crime. At 18, she made her costume and set out to make the world a better place. She signed up for a post-human project being done by Star Labs. It promised to give people superpowers. Technically it did. However, the substances they used to achieve this affected the human body negatively, and Vanessa had a heart attack. But here's the thing, for these trials, she had to sign a lot of paperwork, and in her excitement, she didn't read it very well. So she signed something that said that if she were to pass, her brain could be taken out of her body and used somewhere else. Her brain was put into a robot designed to destroy the Titans. Robot Vanessa was told the Titans were actually evil imposters, so she fought them until Cyborg hacked her systems and Raven destroyed her. You either die a hero or have your brain harvested for evil because you didn't read the fine print. I'd like to remember Vanessa as a hero though, because she did do her best. Up next is the new Wonder Girl, Yara Flor. She is an Amazon of the Amazon. There have been Wonder Girls before her, but Yara debuted in 2021. Her mom was an Amazon who ended up in Brazil, and while in Brazil, she fell in love with a local deity, and then we got Wonder Girl. Yara was born in Brazil, but didn't grow up there. She was raised in Boise, Idaho, after her mother died. At 21, she traveled back to Brazil and quickly stepped into hero shoes, saving people from burning cars and meeting mermaids. She also ends up on Mount Olympus and received a Pegasus named Jerry. It's hard to see other people living your dream. Yara's powers include generally being a superhuman, but she is also capable of currently limited hydrokinesis. Part of her various training led her to being a master in archery, war, horseback riding, combat of all forms, and swordsmanship. Yara eventually joins up with the Justice League and has also fought alongside the Wonderwoman family. When Dark Crisis rolls around, she is offered a spot on John Kent's new team, which she actually rejects at first, but then Titan Tower is attacked and she reconsiders John's offer, ending up helping the team out because, you know, she's amazing. And finally, Olivia Desmond has barely graduated from elementary school and is already punching demons through walls. This little powerhouse goes by Nightbuster and debuted in November of 2022. She is the daughter of Blockbuster, and he is an awful father. He sold his soul for intelligence, but when his daughter was born, he renegotiated so that her soul would be taken if he were to die. That time came when Olivia was in maybe 3rd grade. The demons came for her. However, Nightwing stepped in. Nightwing is Olivia's dad's worst enemy, and Olivia is Nightwing's biggest fan, and I love that. Olivia had been living with Raven for protection after that whole demon debacle, but then another demon came for her. She punched him through a wall, and then she was transferred to the care of the Amazons for her safety, and truly the safety of demons everywhere. As she is being left in the care of the Amazons, Nightwing asks her if she has thought of a code name yet. Remember, she loves Nightwing and rightfully hates her dad, so she combined their names because she thought it would annoy her father, and that's how we got Nightbuster.
Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is the enigmatic Nighthawk, Kyle Richmond, a dark and brooding vigilante plucked from the alternate reality of the Squadron Supreme. Often compared to DC's Batman, Nighthawk boasts a similar set of skills: a master strategist, an unparalleled detective, and a brutal hand-to-hand fighter, further augmented by an arsenal of sophisticated gadgets. However, unlike the Caped Crusader, Nighthawk's path to the Avengers wasn't born from a crusade against crime, but rather a deeply personal vendetta. The cosmic demon Mephisto, a being of immense power, had systematically dismantled Nighthawk's life, leaving him with nothing but a thirst for revenge. Recognizing both Nighthawk's formidable abilities and the shared threat Mephisto posed, Black Panther extended an invitation to join Earth's mightiest heroes. Despite his solitary nature and preference for working from the shadows, Nighthawk accepted, understanding that even a lone wolf needs a pack when facing a cosmic-level threat. He is currently an active member, working alongside the Avengers, though his primary focus remains firmly on his ultimate goal, the utter destruction of Mephisto. Soaring in at number 9 is the valiant Jane Foster, a character whose journey has taken her from renowned astrophysicist to the mighty Thor and now the newest Valkyrie. Jane's worthiness was undeniably proven when she lifted the enchanted hammer Mjolnir during a desperate time, embodying the power of Thor and defending Asgard with unparalleled courage. After the devastating War of the Realms, which saw the tragic fall of the Valkyrie, or the ancient order of Asgardian warrior goddesses, Jane Foster was chosen to take up their mantle. As Valkyrie, she now wields the enchanted sword Underjarn, a blade capable of cleaving through mystical barriers and even the fabric of reality itself. Beyond her combat prowess, Valkyrie serves as a vital link between the living and the honored dead, possessing the power to ferry souls to and from the hallowed halls of Valhalla. This unique ability, combined with her experience as Thor, makes her an invaluable member of the Avengers, providing both martial strength and a crucial connection to the mystical realms. She is currently an active member of the team. Descending upon us at number 8 is the imperious king of Atlantis, Namor, the Submariner, a powerful and often controversial figure. Namor is a complex character, a ruler who has fiercely protected his underwater kingdom, often placing him in direct conflict with the surface world. His immense pride, volatile temper, and questionable allegiances have seen him labeled both hero and villain throughout his long history. However, a recent and crushing defeat, which resulted in the devastating loss of his kingdom, served as a harsh awakening for the once unflappable monarch. Seeking a path to redemption and a chance to atone for past transgressions, Namor found an unlikely ally in She-Hulk. Recognizing the potential for change within the humbled king, she extended an offer to join the Avengers. With his unparalleled superhuman strength, the ability to breathe both air and water, command over marine life, and mastery of the oceans themselves, Namor brings a unique and formidable power set to the team. Though he currently serves as an active member, his past actions and inherent arrogance still occasionally create friction within the ranks, making his presence a constant source of both strength and tension. Taking the number 7 spot is the remarkable Echo Maya Lopez, a deaf Native American hero whose unique abilities set her apart in the world of superhuman combat. Echo possesses the extraordinary gift of photographic reflexes, allowing her to instantly and flawlessly mimic any physical action she witnesses. This makes her an incredibly adaptable and dangerous fighter, able to master any martial art or combat technique with a single glance. However, Echo's journey took a monumental leap forward when she became the chosen host of the Phoenix Force, a primordial cosmic entity of unimaginable power, capable of creation and destruction on a universal scale. This fusion of unparalleled martial skill and cosmic might has transformed Echo into one of the most formidable beings on Earth and a powerhouse member of the Avengers. Her connection to the Phoenix Force not only amplifies her already impressive abilities, but also adds a crucial cosmic dimension to the team's roster, preparing them for threats that originate far beyond the confines of the planet. She remains an active and powerful member of the team, grappling with the immense responsibility that comes with wielding the Phoenix Force. Number 6 brings us the master of Kung Fu, Shang-Chi. Recruited by Tony Stark, Shang-Chi initially hesitated to embrace the technological side of superheroics. However, he eventually came to understand the value of teamwork and diverse approaches to combat. His mastery of countless martial arts styles, combined with his newfound control over the 10 rings, makes him a deadly opponent. He represents a bridge between ancient martial arts traditions and the modern world of superheroics. Current status: an active and valued member of the team. At number 5, we have the Daywalker, Blade. A half-vampire with a burning vendetta against the creatures of the night, Blade was recruited by Black Panther to deal with a rising vampire threat. His expert swordsmanship, superhuman abilities, and immunity to vampire bites make him the perfect weapon against the undead. Blade's presence on the team highlights the Avengers' willingness to confront supernatural threats head-on. His recent possession by Varney during the Blood Hunt event has caused some lingering tension, highlighting the dangers they face. Current status: active, but navigating the aftermath of his possession. Number 4 takes us back to 1982. Monica Rambeau, the second Captain Marvel. Monica possesses the incredible ability to transform into any form of energy along the electromagnetic spectrum, from visible light to gamma rays. She was introduced to the Avengers by Spider-Man, seeking help in mastering her powers. She quickly became a prominent member and even led the team for a time. Monica was recently trapped in an alternate reality after sealing a hole in the universe. She sacrificed herself to ensure the safety of the multiverse. Current status: trapped in an alternate reality, but her impact on the team remains. At number 3, we have the Black Knight Dane Whitman, wielding the cursed ebony blade, a weapon that grants him enhanced abilities but also whispers dark temptations. The Black Knight is a warrior torn between his heroic nature and the blade's corrupting influence. He initially infiltrated the Masters of Evil before proving his loyalty to the Avengers. His swordsmanship and the power of the Ebony Blade make him a valuable asset in battle. Current status: active member, constantly battling the influence of the Ebony Blade. Coming in at number 2, we revisit Echo, this time in her earlier role as Ronin. Joining the New Avengers in 2005, Echo initially operated in the shadows, infiltrating the criminal underworld of Japan. This period showcases her versatility and willingness to take on dangerous undercover missions. It's a testament to her dedication to justice, even before she gained the Phoenix Force. Current status: active, now as the Phoenix Force host on the main Avengers team. And finally, at number 1, we have the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. While he had been offered membership before, Spider-Man officially joined the New Avengers in 2005. His superhuman strength, agility, wall-crawling abilities, and iconic web shooters make him one of the most recognizable and beloved heroes in the world. Spider-Man's everyman quality and unwavering sense of responsibility make him a relatable and inspiring figure.
DC's new Absolute Comics are just the gift that keeps on giving. The Absolute Universe was created by Darkseid, a world where your favorite DC heroes don't have the advantages their Earth Zero counterparts do. So for Batman, that means he isn't rich, and that means he has to be way more resourceful to create all of his Bat gear. The Batman costume in this comic is absolutely incredible and so innovative. I love that his bat ears are actually knives. I love that he can stand on his cape like stilts, similar to how a bat walks, and I love that the bat symbol on his chest turns into an axe. Every part of this suit is useful, and it just shows how clever this version of Bruce Wayne is. He still follows Batman's golden rule: no fatalities, if he can help it. He would always hit just close enough though. The other notable difference between this Batman and the Batman we're used to is he still has his mom, and his dad passed in a very different setting. Thomas Wayne was Bruce's teacher. On a class trip to the zoo, someone opened fire and Mr. Wayne shoved his class into the Bat exhibit, sacrificing his life for his students. The tragedy inspired Bruce's mission of justice. To gain the knowledge he would need for his mission, Bruce worked in almost every sector of the city, currently employed as an engineer. It's nice to know that even with all the odds stacked against our heroes, they still fight for good. Wonderwoman is also receiving the absolute treatment, with her first issue releasing just a few days ago. This Diana didn't have the advantage of growing up with the Amazons on Paradise Island. Instead, she grew up literally in hell. She was taken from the Amazons by Zeus and brought down by Apollo to be raised by Circe on the wild Isle of Hell. This was a form of punishment towards the Amazon, as they committed some unspecified crime against the gods, but it must have been really bad considering it was also decreed that the word Amazon must never be spoken again. Diana still grew up with all the same powers she normally would, making friends with many demons along the way, but she never knew why she was the way she was. It wasn't until she matured that she went to her mother Circe and began asking about the forbidden word that she may never have heard but felt beating in her chest. Though Circe couldn't say it, she encouraged Diana to say what she was, told her about her heroic sisters, and ultimately let Diana go to become Wonder Woman. Absolute Wonder Woman fights to protect Earth from harbingers, preventing them from consuming the world. She fights with the Athena blade and her skeletal, fire-breathing Pegasus. The final panel of Absolute Wonder Woman features Diana in all her glory, wielding a new lasso, the Nemesis lasso. It's red, and according to writer Kelly Thompson, it dulls out more pain than the lasso of truth, and likely we will read about its origins soon. And finally, to complete this trio, Absolute Superman. Now we know significantly less about Absolute Superman simply because his comic isn't out yet. There is a preview available, and from that we learn that instead of Superman's parents, particularly his mother, being respected scientists and scholars, they were Kryptonian farmers in the part of town that the upper class don't often worry about. This Superman will still likely lose his parents because the tagline for his story is, This Superman has no family, no fortress of solitude, and no home. So just going out on a limb here, but I think he's gonna lose him. The Superman that comes to Earth will also apparently be an adult upon arrival, and that's very, very different from most depictions of the character. Baby Superman obviously knew that something bad happened to his world and eventually learned what it was in full. But adult Superman will crash onto the scene with that anger fresh in his mind. So the big question is, will he use it for good or not? From the Wild Wild West comes Marilyn Moonlight, a vigilante active back when Metropolis was just a little frontier town. At first, Marilyn was just a regular citizen, but then an outlaw rolled into town and was causing trouble. The outlaw was defeated by two people from the future, a man who could fly and a woman on a glowing horse. Marilyn saw the mysterious woman and was inspired to protect the little town, becoming the spirit of Metropolis. Little did she know, the future people turned out to be Superman and Marilyn. Behind every strong woman is herself. Marilyn lived a long life and passed peacefully surrounded by love, but then of course that can't last long. There is no peace for heroes, not even in death. She was resurrected as a ghost, and for her troubles she received light-based powers that work best when manipulating moonlight. The catch is she can only exist in the dark. Marilyn dropped in early 2023, and I hope that they find ways to keep bringing her back. Ranadorada and his flaming puppy Cadeo have leapt on the scene, literally. Ranadora means golden frog in Spanish. This new hero was teased in 2023's Batman Superman World's Finest 2021 in November of last year, but he was literally just shown in a big group and had a short moment fighting our leading heroes when they were on Earth 22. His Prime Earth counterpart didn't appear until Absolute Power 3 from earlier this year. Ranadorada seems to be a skilled acrobat and fearless, stepping up to the plate to fight against Amanda Waller's propaganda and help out the heroes. His fire dog is based on a spirit from Central American folklore. There is a protector version of this spirit, but also an evil version, which hopefully Ranadorada gets more panel time and the evil dog is used somewhere in a story. Another new hero was teased alongside Rana in the World's Finest comic. Her hero suit takes after a jaguar, and her name is Baruka. The name is inspired by the Baruka, an indigenous group living in Costa Rica. It seems like her jaguar suit is a suit. It has sharpened claws, and she is clearly very agile and strong considering she can jump so high. Even less is known about this hero than Dorada. She has literally appeared the one time, but since he got a hero feature later, hopefully she'll also get one in the future. I mean, there is the Justice League-esque team that already exists in Mexico, so maybe she could team up with them. Wonder Woman's daughter Trinity has been officially introduced into Prime Earth. Now, you might already know her from the backup comics in Wonder Woman Volume 6, but technically that version of her was from a possible future, and that possible future is now possibly confirmed canon. The Trinity comic in Wonder Woman 13 is her origin story as explained by Damian Wayne, and then the next issue's main story shows Wonder Woman actually molding Trinity from the clay and asking for life to be bestowed upon her. Will this Elizabeth actually grow up to be the Trinity from the backup stories that wields the three lassos of fate, or will she end up completely different? It remains to be seen. Jenny Crisis is the latest Century baby, the spirit of the 21st century, born on the stroke of midnight, New Year's Day 2000. Century babies are born at the beginning of a century that eventually grow up to have superhuman abilities, and their job is to change the world, and they don't usually age past their 20s. Jenny is taking her role as the 21st century baby very seriously. She is determined to leave the century better than she found it. At first, she did more harm than good because she didn't know who she was. She would have a panic attack and then something really bad would happen somewhere in the world. Eventually, she put the pieces together and decided to take some time to herself to sort that out. Like most century babies, Jenny is abnormally strong and can listen to the world, enabling her to locate those in trouble no matter where they are. She can fire blasts of emotional energy and make those around her feel what she feels. This year, Jenny had a bad breakup and accidentally caused the world to effectively break for 2 days, but then the outsiders showed up to neutralize her. Jenny proved that she wasn't a threat, and she is now continuing her journey of self-discovery. She debuted in February of this year. DC once again drew some inspiration from history for Joker, the world this year, this time creating the Polish hero Zawiza Black Knight, defender of Krakow, based on the real Polish knight, the Black of Garbo. The knight passed in the early 1400s, but DC seems to suggest that his legacy, or he, lives on. In this Joker short story, Joker is attempting to steal a famous painting of a clown, only to be stopped in his tracks by the Black Knight. His suit is fashioned to look like armor, and he wields a very sharp sword. He is not Batman, or a version of Batman, which he explicitly says, along with a promise that he doesn't have the no fatality rules, so the Joker better watch out. And finally, Also from Absolute Batman is a brand new super cool version of Alfred Pennyworth. Now, Alfred has always been that guy. He has always been good at everything he does, and there have been plenty of versions of him that have a past of being some kind of hero in his own right, but it simply never gets old. So in Absolute Batman, Alfred is a special agent for a British organization. We don't know which one yet. His current assignment is to return to Gotham City to gather intel on the Party Animals, the villainous group of the hour. He is highly trained in every form of combat, weaponry, he has a pretty sick motorcycle. Since this universe is meant to strip our heroes of all their advantages, Alfred doesn't know Bruce Wayne. In fact, he fought Batman on a rooftop and has been tasked with removing Batman from the picture. So he's really not on his side, and I'm excited to see that change.
Number 10. Emily Bright. Making her first appearance in Strange Academy issue 1 in 2020, Emily Bright was born with an innate connection to magic. Even as a young child, her abilities manifested in these subtle ways, such as healing injured animals with a simple touch. Her life changed forever when Doctor Strange personally invited her to enroll in Strange Academy, a school of course dedicated to training the next generation of sorcerers. Now at the academy, Emily learns advanced spells, elemental control, and how to summon mystical energies. However, her raw magical potential is both a gift and a curse. She often finds herself a target for dark entities eager to harness her power, including forces from dimensions that she never even knew existed. Emily's journey is all about self-discovery and responsibility as she struggles to balance her desire for a normal life with the burden of protecting the magical realms. Hashtag first world problems. Number 9. Doyle Dormammu. Making his first appearance in Strange Academy 1 in 2020, Doyle Dormammu is the teenage son of Dormammu, the infamous ruler of the Dark Dimension, and of course a long-standing enemy of Doctor Strange. Now, despite his fiery skull and lineage and all that scary stuff, Doyle seeks to forge his own path, but this time as a hero. At Strange Academy, he works tirelessly to prove that he is more than his father's legacy. Doyle's powers include fire manipulation, invulnerability to heat, and the ability to tap into the interdimensional magic. However, his journey is marked by internal conflicts. He often questions whether he can escape the darkness of his ancestry or if his father's influence is too deeply ingrained. Doyle's dynamic relationships with his classmates, especially Emily Bright, add depth to his character, showcasing that his struggle to balance friendship, heroism, and the constant threat of his father's looming control is a pretty hard one to balance. Number 8. Eve Warlock. Making her first appearance in Warlock Rebirth 1 back in 2023, in the world of the Christian Bible, if you know Adam, then you also must have heard of Eve. Well, Marvel takes this idea and introduces a new female counterpart to Adam Warlock called Eve Warlock. Genetically engineered to be the perfect woman, in quotes, Eve surpasses Adam in nearly every aspect, making her a powerful and an intriguing figure in this reimagined origin story of the iconic Marvel hero. Created by the High Evolutionary, Eve Warlock initially defies her creator's intentions and, like Adam, seeks her own path as a hero within Earth 616. However, unlike many heroes, she's not known for her compassion or her friendliness. You can't have them all, folks. Eve tends to keep to herself, avoiding interactions with others and distancing herself from the conventional ideals of heroism. Now, this aloofness and lack of sympathy make her a unique addition to the Marvel Universe, with her character developing beyond the shadow of Adam Warlock's legacy. Number 7. Samurai Venom. Pretty self-explanatory, let's dive in. Making his first appearance in Extreme Venomverse number 1 back in May 2023, in a unique twist on the symbiote saga, Samurai Venom takes the fusion of ancient warrior culture and Venom to thrilling new heights. Originating from an alternate Earth, this version of Venom combines the power of the symbiote with the discipline and ferocity of a samurai. Now, although Samurai Venom has only appeared in 2 Marvel comics in 2023 and met an untimely demise, the concept of a symbiote-wielding warrior offers rich potential for future stories. It's pretty badass. Given Marvel's tradition of reinventing symbiotes, there's always a chance for this character to return. I mean, we hope. The origin of Samurai Venom is set in motion when an Oscorp employee stumbles upon this mysterious black sword. Upon drawing the blade, Takemoto, the unsuspecting wielder, is then bonded with the Venom symbiote, transforming into Samurai Venom. This dimensional character brings a fresh and visually striking take on the classic symbiote, and while he exists in an alternate universe, the idea of a Venom samurai could certainly find its way back into the core Marvel continuity, perhaps as a historical figure on Earth 616. Never say never. Number 6. Hunter's Moon. Making their first appearance in Moon Knight issue 3 2021, Hunter's Moon, aka Dr. Batter, is a devout follower of Khonshu, the Egyptian moon god, and serves as a counterpart to Mark Spector's Moon Knight. Banner views himself as the god's loyal servant, upholding Khonshu's will without question. Hunter's Moon possesses enhanced strength, agility, and healing abilities, especially during a full moon, of course, as well as access to Khonshu's divine magic. His character brings an intriguing moral contrast to Moon Knight, questioning whether blind faith or moral ambiguity is a better path. As both an ally and a rival, Hunter's Moon challenges Mark Spector to reconsider his relationship with Khonshu and the nature of his mission. Number 5. Wagnerine. Making their first appearance in Nightcrawler's issue 1 in 2023, Wagnerine from Earth TRN 993 is the result of Mr. Sinister's experiment, blending the powers of Nightcrawler and Wolverine into a single weaponized mutant. With both teleportation and claws, she's a force to be reckoned with. Though her time in the comics was brief, her fierce determination to protect her child, even at a great personal cost, of course makes her a memorable character. Wagnerine's fusion of iconic abilities offers a fresh twist on familiar mutants and left a lasting mark on Marvel's multiverse. That's the two powers you'd want, really. Teleportation and some claws? Game over, pal. Number 4. Scarlet Scarab. Making their first appearance in Moon Knight 25, 2023. Originally, they were introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Layla El-Fouly made her comic debut as the Scarlet Scarab in 2023. Her story adds depth to Mark Spector's journey, pushing him towards becoming Moon Knight. After his passing, Layla was resurrected by the goddess Tawarit and returned as a powerful protector of the Egyptian god's City of the Dead. With her new abilities, she teams up with Moon Knight, forming a compelling duo that brings fresh excitement to Marvel Comics. Her powers and evolving relationship with Moon Knight promise more thrilling adventures in the Marvel Universe. We didn't get a lot of her in the Moon Knight show. I wonder if we'll get more in season 2. I wonder if we'll get a season 2 at this point. I mean, who knows? Number 3. Ironfire. Making their first appearance in Sins of Sinister 2023, Ironfire was introduced in the dystopian future of Sins of Sinister. It's a mutant with the unique ability to transmute his blood into weapons and armor. Now, in a world where Sinister has taken fully control, Ironfire becomes a leader in the Resistance, using his powers to fight for mutant freedom. His character embodies resilience and defiance, representing an unyielding spirit of those who resist oppression. So when brought into the main timeline, Ironfire's knowledge of future events, of course, makes him a valuable, albeit haunted ally in preventing Sinister's schemes from coming to fruition. Number 2. Sora the Cyclone. Making her first appearance in Avengers Assemble Omega 1 back in 2023, Sora the Cyclone is a Wakandan meteorologist turned superhero, and she's chosen to represent her nation on a multiversal Avengers team. Her powers, derived from Wakandan experiments with vibranium and atmospheric technology, this allows her to control wind currents, summon tornadoes, and manipulate the weather on a localized scale. Sora's intelligence and tactical mind make her a critical asset in battle, while her Wakandan heritage ties her to her people's deep cultural and technological roots. And finally, number 1, Spiderboy Bailey Briggs. Making his first appearance in Spider-Man April 2023, Bailey Briggs became Spider-Boy after being taken and having his DNA spliced by Madame Monstrosity. His tragic origin mirrors that of many masked heroes, but his powers allowed him to stand proudly alongside Spider-Man as his sidekick. Now, despite a complex relationship with Peter Parker, including Otto Octavius' time as Superior Spider-Man, Spider-Boy brings this optimistic energy to the team, which is always fun. Though he's not as popular as Miles Morales yet, or Peter Parker, nothing of that sort, Spider-Boy's charm and growing fan base earned him his own series in the same year that he was introduced, so he's off to a good start, so we'll probably see more of him to come. Maybe in Beyond the Spider-Verse. Maybe we'll see a little Bailey Briggs. Who knows?
So Hydra is once again ruining lives because it's what they do best. This time they kidnapped a bunch of regular people and experimented on them, giving them superpowers. The person is brainwashed to believe that they are linked to a superhero that shares similar powers. For example, for today's first point, we have Moon Squire. He believes that he is attached kind of to Moon Knight. His Hydra backstory is that he acquired his powers / contacted his Egyptian patron after finding some forbidden ancient texts while on an internet deep dive. It appears that Moon Squire has similar, if not the same, powers as Moon Knight, with a focus on his ability to darken any space he's in, literally absorbing the light to create his weapons. He's not the only person this situation has happened to. There were quite a few of them. Some of the other experiments have found each other and created a team together called the Assembly, now New Champions. Hydra created all these little heroes so they would cover the earth and subtly influence the world to view Hydra favorably. The new champions have discovered their evil plan and made it their mission to find the new heroes around the world and bring them to the good side. Next up is Calico, a big win for the Horse Girls. Introduced in Uncanny X-Men in August, she is literally a girl with a magical horse. Together they are Calico and Ember. Since Calico is very, very new, there isn't much to go on when it comes to how much power she wields. However, she has given readers a taste, and so far she is awesome. Through a powerful mind link with her horse, she can transform them into various horse forms. All we've really seen so far is kind of like a winged flaming horse. Calico can either stay as she is and just look really cool riding on the back of a flaming Pegasus, or she can give herself a flaming suit of armor and a sword and look even cooler. To put it simply, I want to be her. Calico's backstory is tough, like many young mutants is. Born Becca Simon Panetch, she grew up with a mother that kind of made her like a Rapunzel character. She couldn't access any media other than books, only animals were her friends, and she was once locked in a cupboard for 4 days, so you kind of understand the vibe there. When her house burned down, she got out of there and has been on the run ever since, eventually finding a family in a scrappy group of teens that call themselves the Outliers. My favorite recent-ish addition to the Marvel Spider universe is Spinstress or Spinderella. She is Princess Petra of Earth 423, and I have never ever wanted to be a character so bad. She is a Disney princess version of Peter Parker. She sings, she swings, and she even has her own MJ, Mary James Watson. He's a singing bard. Like Cinderella, she is banned from going to the big ball, but her fairy godmother swooped in to save the day. She gave Petra the prettiest dress I've ever seen and spider powers and sent her on her way. Now she is a crime-fighting princess living in a fairy tale land, and isn't that just the dream? Princess Petra did debut in 2022, so she's a bit older than some of the other people on this list, but no less cool. Phantasma debuted this month in Ghost Rider Robbie Ray's special, and she is awesome. She was only there for a little bit, but that's really all she needed. Roller derby skater by trade and Ghost Rider when she is put in high-stress situations, Isabella Alvarez might not have complete control over when she uses her powers, but she does have a good handle on them in the midst of battle. In the story, Isabella was supposed to be getting ready for a roller derby match, but she had a panic attack that caused a portal to open and release a bunch of demons. To deal with the demons, she had to become her Ghost Rider form, Phantasma. She has some super hot glue chains that she uses to corral them all, and of course she has the ability to open and close portals. She's completely fearless, as exhibited by her complete willingness to just jump through the portal at the end to make sure it closes with no real plan on how to get back. Phantasma was created for the New Champions variant covers event happening this month. We have another new champion, and her name is Liberty. She is part of the team Moonsquire is on, and she looks kind of like if Captain America and the Wasp mashed together. Her brainwashed backstory is she was a tech genius and was a leading mind in the advancement of hard light technology. She realized her true origins upon hearing a very loud scream. Liberty's powers are flight, thanks to her wings, of course, but the wings can also shield her from projectiles and electrical shocks. She's also able to turn invisible, but it isn't like the invisibility is coming from her. She has this light star thing that reflects light, and that renders her invisible to the human eye, as well as cameras and infrared lasers. Liberty's character was teased last year, but 2024 has been this girl's time to shine. Thank you so much to the person that was like, you know what we need? Space Spider-Man. Because we did need Space Spider-Man. I like to have fun, so why not? Persephone Parker is Star Spider. She is also the coolest, and I love her suit. She is from Earth 1978 and debuted in the Edge of Spider-Verse 3 in April. She lives in the space station, Bronx, because that's where her family is from. She's on the station because she's working as an apprentice to Professor Osborn, and they study quantum engineering. Persephone is quite sneaky. She is secretly dating Osborn's daughter and also secretly a space superhero. She utilizes the spiders on the ship, but they're not actual spiders, they're nanobots that use Shi'ar tech. They are what form Persephone's cool outfit. Spider stands for Sanitation, Planning, Integrated Defense, and Engineering Robots. Star Spider's biggest fight so far has been against Octavius and the Kree army that were trying to invade the station. Deathlock is a newer Avenger, and I think he's pretty cool. Deathlock is Miles Morales from Earth 807128. Originally part of the Champions, he ended up facing Annihilus. In that fight, Miles ended up passing on, but then he didn't. He ended up turning into Deathlock instead. From what I can gather from the comic, it's because Miles stole the cosmic control rod from Annihilus and broke it. It caused him to become more cyborg than man. Miles in this universe is very similar to his 616 counterpart. He's fearless and funny and fights like his life depends on it, because it always does. Deathlock is part of the Savage Avengers. Even though they are from separate Earths, there's a lot of timeline messes happening, and that's how they came together. Deathlock debuted in May of 2022, so again, a bit older than some of the other heroes on this list, but no less cool. Ransom, another member of the Outliers, is next. Again, super new, not much is known about his powers, but we do know for sure that he has no heart. And that is me being completely literal. Ransom doesn't have a heart in his chest. Instead, he has a black hole or something like that. Now, this is not fully confirmed yet, but it looks like Ransom is one of those mutants that absorbs energy, and that makes him stronger. I got this vibe because when Wolverine was getting in his face, he said, "Don't touch me," seriously, kind of like a warning. Then when he was sharing his heartbreaking backstory about the time he was kidnapped and his rich parents refused to pay the ransom, the criminals threw him out a window and used their weapons 14 times, which in Ransom's words only made him strong. So it seems like any force used against this guy will only make him a tougher opponent. Moving into vampire territory, we have Pia. Pia is a vampire, as you might have guessed, but she is special and different than other vampires because she isn't hurt by sunlight. This is because she merged with a rabbit familiar named Tito. Pia has been a hero long before she gained her vampire abilities. She actually met her rabbit because she was being chased by a vampire. She saved Tito, but then another vampire ended up biting her. The two found each other again, and presumably as a thank you, Tito merged with Pia, giving her the chance to still exist as she did before. Pia is completely fearless. I mean, as a regular human girl, she took on a vampire with no second thoughts, and then did it again multiple times. But she's also really emotionally mature for her age after everything she has gone through. Her strange academy story centered around the vampire pandemic and capturing the Darkhold boy. The Darkhold was being really cruel out of a place of fear, and when given the chance to attack him, Pia instead heard him out and even saved him from Egg of the Harkness by giving him some added protection by giving up Tito. And then she kicked Agatha in the face, so Pia slays. And finally, Deathdream. He is another member of the Outliers, and he is really creepy. He exists between life and death. He can choose which of those states he wants to be in at will. His mutant abilities manifested at birth. He was born still, was revived, and that situation happened 4 times the day of his birth, and by the 4th time his body just started doing it himself. Deathdream, when he chooses to be deceased, has necromancy powers and can summon souls. The souls can possess him, giving him powers like flight, or becoming a black hole. Literally, one of his combat strategies, it's so creepy, he just turns into this black void with a head in the middle and beady red eyes. No thank you. It's clear that Deathdream is incredibly powerful. He's just really young. He doesn't really have a handle on his power yet, so when he gets possessed, he pretty much loses all control of his body, which nearly ended Nightcrawler in what was supposed to be a training exercise. Overall, he just seems like a really sad kid with way more power than he might know what to do with, which means his arc has a lot of potential, and I'm excited to see how his story continues.
Let's delve deeper into the heart of the inferno that is Temper. Idea Konko, formerly Oya, is not just a mutant with the power to manipulate temperature. She's a walking testament to the destructive potential that lies within even the most well-intentioned. Her thermokinesis isn't a neatly controlled gift. It's a raging firestorm that once consumed her, leading to a tragedy that resulted in her exile from the mutant nation of Krakoa. Imagine carrying that weight, the constant gnawing fear that the very power meant to protect could erupt in devastation. Temper's journey is a tightrope walk between control and chaos, a desperate bid for redemption as she grapples with the guilt and trauma of her past. Cyclops sees her potential, the chance to forge her destructive abilities into a force for good, a weapon against the very prejudice that fuels her inner turmoil. But the question remains, can Temper truly tame the fire within, or will the shadows of her past consume her once more, turning her into the very weapon she fears becoming? Her story is a powder keg, and her every move is one step closer to either salvation or detonation. Glob Herman is an open book, quite literally. Robert Herman's mutation has rendered him a living paradox, a being of incredible durability encased in a fragile-looking, transparent wax-like skin that exposes his very being to the world. This stark visual metaphor speaks volumes about the mutant experience, the vulnerability that comes with being different, the feeling of being constantly under scrutiny. Glob has endured prejudice not just from the outside world, but from within his own family, a heartbreaking reminder of the intolerance that can fester even in the most intimate circles. His journey has been a winding path of self-discovery, from the rebellious ranks of the Omega Gang, fueled by youthful anger and a sense of belonging, to the quiet solitude of organic farming, a testament to his desire for peace and growth. His return to the X-Men fold isn't just a comeback, it's a statement, a declaration of his commitment to the mutant dream, his willingness to use his unique physiology for something greater than himself. But the question lingers, can this gentle giant, whose very form suggests malleability, withstand the pressures of a world that demands conformity? Or will he be molded by the forces that seek to define him? Kid Omega, Quintavious Quire, is the embodiment of controlled chaos, a walking, talking wildcard in the X-Men's already volatile deck. He's an Omega-level telepath, a psychic powerhouse whose abilities rival those of the legendary Professor X himself. But immense power often breeds immense instability, and Kid Omega is no exception. He's a rebel, a provocateur, a genius with a deeply troubled past, and a disdain for authority that borders on pathological. His very presence is a challenge to the established order, a constant reminder of the untamed potential that lies within the mutant race. His history with the Omega Gang, a group of rebellious students who sought to upend the status quo, speaks volumes about his character, a young man wrestling with his inner demons, lashing out at a world he feels has wronged him. Cyclops' decision to include him on this new team is a high-stakes gamble, a calculated risk that could either unlock Kid Omega's potential for leadership and growth, or unleash a wave of unpredictable chaos. Will he rise to the occasion and become the hero he could be, or will his rebellious nature and volatile temperament lead him, and perhaps the team, down a path of destruction? Kid Omega's path is a tightrope walk over a chasm of possibilities, and the fate of many may hang in the balance. In a team marked by internal struggles and shadowed pasts, Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, arrives like a breath of fresh air, a vibrant splash of color in a world often painted in shades of gray. This teenage Inhuman, recently revealed to also be a mutant, is a symbol of hope and unity in a fractured landscape. Her polymorph abilities, the power to stretch, shrink, and embiggen her body, are as versatile and adaptable as her personality. Kamala represents a bridge between worlds, a connection between the Inhuman and mutant communities, a testament to the power of embracing one's multifaceted identity. She brings a youthful optimism, a genuine belief in the good of people, and a unique perspective that challenges the cynicism that can often creep into the mutant struggle. But the question remains, can her idealism, her unwavering faith in a brighter future, withstand the harsh realities of a world that often seems determined to extinguish the light? Can Ms. Marvel's optimism survive the crucible of the X-Men's battles, or will the darkness that surrounds them ultimately dim her radiant spirit? Her journey will be a test of resilience, a testament to the power of hope in the face of adversity. Rasputin IV is an enigma, a mystery wrapped in organic metal and imbued with latent magical power. She is a chimera, a being born not of natural processes but of deliberate design, a fusion of the genetic material of two legendary X-Men, Colossus and his sister, the sorceress Magic. This makes her a living, breathing question mark, a testament to the complex and often ethically murky world of genetic manipulation. Her very existence raises profound questions about the legacy of past conflicts and the morality of creating life for a predetermined purpose. Rasputin IV is a blank slate, a character yet to be fully defined, a vessel of immense potential whose purpose remains shrouded in secrecy. Will she be a weapon, a savior, or something else entirely? What role will this artificially created being, carrying the lineage of two powerful and vastly different mutants, play in the future of mutant kind? Her path is unwritten, her destiny unknown, making her a source of both intrigue and apprehension for those who know of her existence. She is a living embodiment of the unknown, a powerful force waiting to be unleashed, for good or for ill. In a team often defined by raw power and volatile emotions, Prodigy, David Allen, stands as the strategic bedrock, the team's ever-calculating mind. His mutant ability is a marvel of intellectual absorption. He can instantly assimilate the knowledge and skills of those around him, making him a walking, talking encyclopedia and a master tactician capable of outmaneuvering almost any opponent. Prodigy embodies the power of learning and adaptation, a crucial asset in a world that throws a relentless barrage of new and unpredictable challenges at mutant kind. His journey from the ranks of the New Mutants to the investigative proving grounds of X-Factor has honed his leadership skills, transforming him into a formidable strategist. But the question remains, can Prodigy's formidable intellect truly navigate the turbulent emotional landscape of this new era? Can cold, hard logic and strategy truly address the deeply personal struggles, the traumas, and the simmering resentments that define this particular team dynamic? His ability to process information is unparalleled, but can he process the human element, the unpredictable factor that often throws even the most carefully laid plans into disarray? Prodigy's success, and perhaps the team's, hinges on his ability to bridge the gap between intellect and empathy. Sync Everett Thomas is the team's power amplifier. He can synchronize with and duplicate any superhuman ability, making him a force multiplier in battle. His close bond with X-23 adds another layer of strategic depth to the team. Sync represents the power of unity and cooperation, a vital lesson in a world that seeks to divide, but will he get lost in the abilities that are not his own? Finally, X-23, Laura Kinney, a clone of Wolverine, forged in a crucible of pain and violence. She's a warrior with a healing factor, enhanced senses, and adamantium-laced claws, but beneath the hardened exterior lies a soul yearning for connection, for a life beyond the weapon she was designed to be. X-23's journey is one of self-discovery, of breaking free from the chains of her past. She stands as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, even in the face of unimaginable trauma.
Kicking off our list at number 10, we've got a team that's going to redefine what it means to be a hero, or maybe just an anti-hero. I am talking about, of course, the Thunderbolts. This isn't your grandma's Avengers, folks. Forget shiny armor and goody two-shoes attitudes. The Thunderbolts are a crew of reformed villains and morally ambiguous operatives handpicked by Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine to do the dirty work that no one else will. They're the MCU's answer to a morally gray Black Ops team, and they are about to turn things upside down. We're talking about a roster that's stacked with heavy hitters like US Agent, a Captain America gone rogue, Yelena Belova, the dangerous Black Widow, the ever-loyal Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, the hilarious and powerful Red Guardian, the mysterious Taskmaster, and the phasing powerhouse Ghost. These heroes don't play by the rules. They're rough around the edges, they've got baggage, and they're not afraid to get their hands dirty in the name of whatever mission they're assigned. What makes the Thunderbolts such game changers? For starters, they're ushering in a darker, grittier tone to the MCU. They're gonna push the boundaries of what is acceptable in a hero, and we cannot wait to see it. This team's dynamic is a powder keg waiting to explode, and we're here for every glorious, messy second of it. Coming in at number 9, we have the Soviet super soldier himself, the Red Guardian. Russia's answer to Captain America, Alexei is a Cold War relic with a story as fascinating as his powers. This guy's got enhanced strength, speed, and durability, making him a formidable opponent in pretty much any fight. But Red Guardian is more than just brute force. He's a father figure, albeit a flawed one, to Yelena and Natasha. He's got a surprisingly good heart underneath that gruff exterior and a fierce loyalty to his family, both blood and found. Red Guardian brings a unique international perspective to the MCU, reminding us that the world of superheroes extends beyond America's borders. His presence opens up a treasure trove of possibilities for exploring Cold War history, global conflicts, and the complex web of international espionage. And let's not forget his history with the Winter Soldier. This connection adds another layer to Bucky's already complicated past, hinting at shared traumas and unresolved conflicts that are sure to play out in exciting ways. Alright folks, get ready for some controversy, because at number 8 we have the one and only US Agent. Where do we even begin? John Walker is a decorated soldier who is given the super soldier serum and the mantle of Captain America. US Agent is a stark reminder that power without responsibility is a dangerous recipe. He's got the physical enhancements of Captain America, but his methods are brutal, his temper is short, and his moral compass is, let's just say, it needs some serious recalibration. He's a walking embodiment of patriotism gone wrong, a cautionary tale of what happens when a hero loses his way. US Agent's presence throws a wrench into the very idea of what it means to be a hero in the MCU. He forces us to question the symbols we hold dear and the individuals we choose to represent them. Prepare to be amazed by number 7, the phasing anti-heroine known as Ghost. Ava Starr's story is as tragic as it is fascinating. Exposed to quantum energy in a lab accident, she gained the ability to become intangible, walk through walls, and even deliver powerful phased punches. Ghost's powers are a double-edged sword. They make her a formidable opponent, but they also cause her immense suffering. She's constantly battling her own body, desperately seeking a cure for her condition. Her story adds another layer to the MCU's ongoing exploration of the consequences of power. She's a living example that not all superpowers are glamorous, and sometimes the greatest battles are fought within ourselves. Her motivations are complex, her methods are questionable, but her pain is undeniably real. She's a powerful addition to the MCU, and her story is far from over. At number 6, get ready to have your minds blown wide open because we have the dimension-hopping powerhouse herself, America Chavez. This young hero is a literal game changer, possessing the incredible ability to punch star-shaped portals that allow her to travel through the multiverse. You heard that right, America Chavez can literally punch her way through different realities. Talk about a power that opens up endless possibilities. Her arrival in the MCU is kind of like opening Pandora's box, but instead of unleashing evils, it's unleashing infinite universes. The multiverse is at our fingertips and the implications are staggering. But America is more than just her powers. She represents a new generation of heroes, diverse, powerful, and ready to face any challenge that the multiverse throws their way. She's a symbol of hope and resilience, a testament to the strength of youth, and a reminder that anyone can be a hero no matter where they come from. But hold on to your hats, folks, because number 5 on our list is a hero so powerful he could rewrite the entire fabric of the MCU. I am talking about the one, the only, Sentry. This guy is basically Marvel's answer to Superman, possessing strength that rivals the Hulk, the ability to fly, near invulnerability, and even the power to manipulate matter. But here's the kicker, he's got a dark side, a terrifying entity known as the Void, which is the literal embodiment of all his fears, doubts, and negative emotions. Sentry is basically carrying the power of 1,000 exploding suns, but the mind of someone who needs some serious therapy. Sentry's introduction to the MCU is a huge deal, and his appearance in Thunderbolts is highly anticipated. He's potentially the most powerful being in this universe, capable of reshaping reality itself. But it's not just his power that makes him so compelling, it's his internal struggle, his constant battle against the Void, that adds a whole new layer of depth to this character. And here's a theory that's been buzzing around the internet. Sentry's repressed memories and potential ties to Avengers Tower suggest he might have been a hero all along, a protector hidden in plain sight. Sentry is a ticking time bomb of power and psychological turmoil, and his arrival is going to send shockwaves through the entire MCU. Coming in at number 4, it's not just one hero, but a whole team that's about to redefine the meaning of family in the MCU, the Fantastic Four. They're not just any team, they are time-displaced heroes from the 1960s, stranded in a strange new world after a mission gone wrong. We are getting a whole team of heroes ripped straight out of another era. This family of adventurers, bound together by a cosmic ray mishap that granted them extraordinary powers, are bringing their unique brand of heroism to a world that desperately needs them. The Fantastic Four are Marvel's first family, and their arrival is a landmark moment for the MCU. They were the pioneers of a new kind of superhero story, one that embraced its characters' flaws and focused on the importance of human connection. Beyond their family dynamic, the Fantastic Four are connected to some of the biggest villains and cosmic entities in the Marvel Universe. Dr. Doom, Galactus, and the Silver Surfer, these are just a few of the iconic characters tied to the Fantastic Four's lore. Their arrival opens up a whole new world of storytelling possibilities, expanding the MCU's cosmic scope and introducing a new level of threat that will require all hands on deck. So leading the charge at number 3 is the brilliant and elastic leader of the Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic. Reed Richards is more than just a stretchy guy. He's one of the smartest minds in the Marvel Universe. This scientific genius can stretch, contort, and reshape his body into virtually any form imaginable, making him a surprisingly versatile fighter and an invaluable problem solver. Mr. Fantastic's intellect is his greatest weapon. He's a master of science and technology, capable of inventing incredible gadgets, devising complex strategies, and understanding the very fabric of reality. His arrival in the MCU isn't just about adding another powerful hero to the roster. It's about introducing a scientific mind that could revolutionize technology and push the boundaries of what's possible. He's the kind of hero who can outsmart his opponents as easily as he can outfight them. Mr. Fantastic is about to stretch the limits of the MCU, both literally and figuratively. But coming in at a very close second is the heart and soul of the Fantastic Four, the powerful and compassionate Invisible Woman. Susan Storm is a formidable hero possessing the ability to turn invisible, create powerful force fields, and even generate invisible energy blasts. Invisible Woman is the glue that holds the Fantastic Four together. She's the voice of reason, the moral compass, and the unwavering protector of her family. Her powers are a reflection of her inner strength and resilience. She can be as subtle as a whisper or as powerful as a hurricane, depending on what the situation demands. Invisible Woman's presence in the MCU is a major step forward for female representation in superhero films. She's not a damsel in distress or a sidekick. She's a strong, independent hero who can hold her own in any fight and protect those she loves with unwavering determination. Her powers and strategic thinking make her a vital asset to the team, and her compassion and empathy make her a true leader. And finally, folks, our number 1 newest hero changing the MCU is the ever-loving blue-eyed Thing. Ben Grimm, the rock-skinned powerhouse of the Fantastic Four, is a testament to the power of inner strength and unwavering loyalty. This guy is the muscle of the team, possessing super strength, incredible durability, and a heart of gold. The Thing Thing's transformation may have made him a monster on the outside, but it also revealed his true heroism within. He's a loyal friend, a fierce protector, and a constant source of strength for the Fantastic Four. The Thing's arrival in the MCU is a powerful statement about overcoming adversity and embracing your inner strength. He's a reminder that even when life throws you the hardest punches, you can still find the strength to keep fighting. Thing is about to show the MCU that it's not about what you look like, it's about who you are on the inside, and that sometimes the greatest heroes are the ones who have to overcome the most.